Okay, so yeah, my name's Alexander Almeida. I'm 26 years old. I've been living in Toronto for about 5 years now. I go to Toronto Film School because I really want to be a filmmaker. My hometown is Cambridge, Ontario. Love that little place. It's like a little small taste of Europe. And in terms of little small facts about myself, is I love playing the piano. It's one of the most beautiful sounds in the entire world. I'm also a makeup artist, which I got to teach myself in quarantine, so I got a little bonus something out of it. And I do stand-up comedy. And I think that's all. I think like being body positive, I mean, it was different for me. Like when I was younger, I really wanted to like get a goal, goal weight or like have a certain body type that was like pushed on me. So I thought that body positive was like looking a certain way, but now, especially like in quarantine with having to like see my body every day, right now my description of it is like looking in the mirror, and if I have gained weight or if I do like have a bit more like fat or whatever, I just like learn to like love it because my body does everything that it's supposed to do. Like I'm able to walk and I'm able to breathe and I'm able to like, live my life without any limitations. So I think body positive is being grateful for the things that you have, and not giving into like the pressures of the people around you, especially like in the film industry, because we're always being like, oh, I need to look good in like a nice outfit or whatever, maybe like close up on camera. So my biggest insecurity is it's all in my head for sure, but my waistline. Like when I first moved to Toronto, especially in the gay community, there's like a lot of pressure to either be a very muscular man or like very petite and as they say, twinky. So I would always do so many workouts, and like I have a stubborn waistline. Like it's just the way that I'm built, but I would get so upset with myself that I wasn't able to like shrink it, and I would like not eat for a long time and whatnot just because I wanted to look that way. And I think that really started around when I was like 18 or 19 was when I started coming to Toronto to like party, and I would just see all these like very small petite guys in the club, and I was like, I want to look like that. It still like is in my head today, but I'm better at like catching it and being like, relax, you're okay. Just like going back to that grateful thing that we talked about, but I would say like waistline is the only thing I really ever struggle with. I'm fairly confident in my own skin. I've like learned to like, if I have something that I'm not confident with in terms of my body or like my face, I found ways, the wording of this is gonna sound weird, but I found ways to like change it. Like for example, I was always like, oh, I wish I had like sharper cheekbones, but I was like, I can just contour on cheekbones when I need to, or things that I can like if I don't have control over like the structure of my body or the structure of my face, I'm not gonna spend too much time thinking about it. And if I can change, I'll just do it when I need to. So in my own skin, I'm confident now. I like to be very like like show myself off, not in like a bloating way, but just because when you spend so long like disliking yourself and you finally get to a point where you're like, oh my god, forget it all, like I'm gonna enjoy my life, that confidence just like radiates even when I'm not wearing makeup or when I'm not wearing the clothing that makes my body get the shape that I want. So at this point in my life, I'm fairly confident. I feel like being healthy, it's funny like coming out of quarantine being like, I'm healthy. I think being healthy is like, I mean, mentally, we've gone over that. I guess like we'll do body is like, all of like the bad habits, like there's moderation for everything. Like I wouldn't say like eating good food makes you healthy, or eating bad food makes you non-healthy. So I think that finding like the moderation and like the middle and being able to give yourself the things that you want while also being cautious of like your future and like the longevity of your body, and making sure that it's not just like force feeding yourself fruit or force feeding yourself vegetables and ignoring your cravings. Things like, kicking habits like smoking are obviously more encouraged and whatnot. So I think that like being healthy is the moderation while being able to kick the stuff that doesn't service you. And that also just again leads into mental health. Like for example, drinking, if you're like having the worst year in the world and you started like drinking more, like it's a very obvious answer to like cut that down as opposed to like the things that you can live in moderation with. I spent like I said, I spent so long as a kid just disliking how I looked and disliking how I acted, and I was always like, there were times where I was like given some positive reinforcement, but there was so much negative that it like trumped everything about it. So I just spent so long trying to change the things that people didn't like about me. Whether it was like in school, people would tell me I was like too loud, or when I moved to Toronto and I was still like too gay. So I feel like the self-love thing really started when I was like honestly maybe like 24, and I'm 26 now. So like, I think I had like this moment a few years back where I was like, you're gonna waste your time like trying to change the things that like maybe one person didn't like about you. And then I started meeting friends that just like boosted me for how loud I was and boosted me for how gay I was and didn't like tell me that like I looked strange in certain outfits. So like the positive reinforcement helped me when I couldn't give it to myself. So I'm like nowhere near where I would like to be in terms of like just exuding that all the time. But I'm much better than I was 2 years ago. And it's crazy because like when you're 24, like when I was younger, I felt like that's like how I should have been like established. Like when I was younger, I was like 25, I'm gonna have a family, I'm gonna have a house. But I like just learned self-love like on a good path. So I feel like it's going well. I know how to catch the negative thoughts when they come in, and I know how to like avoid going down that spiral. So, which is like super comforting, because when you do go down that path, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna be in this for like a few days now. So it's nice to be able to like have more control over it. Oh my god, yeah, one of my very like first official boyfriends like would make me like take off my eyeliner when we were in the car, because he like wouldn't take me into the restaurant to go on. Like, yeah, 100%. How crazy is that? I've had guys tell me that like I wear too much makeup so they won't date me, or like I look much better without it. And it's like, I feel like a lot of people, even if they don't think that they're doing it intentionally, or if they know that they are, it's like a very strange thing to tell somebody. And so I had to like, but I still dated the guy, I still went through it. I was like, oh, it's okay, he likes me, he just doesn't like my makeup. But I was like a form of microaggression that I should have caught. So I had like, when I did leave that behind though, it was like a very like, I'm gonna wear eyeliner every time I want to, like I'm gonna put on mascara to go to the coffee shop, I don't care. So I had to leave like that sort of stuff behind. Like when I was younger, my parents were crazy about the wearing makeup stuff and whatnot, so I had to kind of take a step back from them until like they grew into it more. But I think that honestly, like that level of self-confidence and being like, well, I'm gonna wear it anyway, is what makes people get over it. Like people will tell you that like your clothing is crazy, but then if you wear it crazy, they're not gonna tell you again, because they've already told you it doesn't affect you. Why would they repeat themselves? I remember one of like the most gratifying moments in my life was like when I was in high school. I wore high heels, I wore pantyhose, and like we had like it was a very Catholic, like we had uniforms. So when we had like our one day where we could wear our own clothes, I was like, I'm gonna wear heels, like I'm gonna wear pantyhose, I don't care. So I like went to school, and like everyone like, and no one said anything rude to me that day, because how could you if there's like a boy wearing women's clothing? Like, what are you gonna say? You're dressed as a girl? It's like, I'm pretty aware, you know, like what are they gonna do? And then I had this guy message me after like 4 years after I graduated, and was like, I just want you to know that like, you know, like the stories of you going through like the school in heels like helped me. I started wearing heels in school, and I was like, that makes me feel so good, because I remember that full day of insecurity, constantly looking around and just waiting like to get like happy that I was doing it, but you know, nervous obviously, but it like does so much more. Like when you're legitimately yourself, you have no idea who you're like inspiring. I feel like these days I've come more into it. I didn't really know what I wanted to do in terms of my appearance last time. I really wanted to like, I was really into makeup, and I was really into feminine clothing, and I didn't know what that meant for me. But now I feel like I've really found this level of androgyny. But I've always loved like spooky stuff. I've loved dark clothing. I love like long clothing. I've loved very cape-like materials, like very droopy things. And it's because I've always like, you know, in like my drag aesthetic, I like to do very scary. I like to do very, very dark and very grunge. But then I also liked doing these like really feminine looks and I wanted to mix the two. So I feel like now in my own beauty standard, I like to have this like spooky androgynous feel where I can like change how I look every day. Not because I'm like insecure about the things that I'm changing, but because I think it's so interesting to take on like a certain character for the day. Like if I wanted to have like really sharp, dark cheekbones and like emanate that like Maleficent look, having the power to do it with like a long drapey coat to the ground is like, why wouldn't I? Like that's a blast. And I've started wearing like more high heels. I used to only wear them when I wanted to like really like make a statement, or if I was going somewhere fancy. Now I just like wear it if I'm going to the grocery store. Like literally I went to No Frills the other day, and I was like wearing my heels, and people look, and it does get a little uncomfortable sometimes, obviously, because you know, no one wants to feel judgment. You just have to click and be like, it's all right, you know, I'm gonna buy these Fruit Loops and go. But I feel like the beauty standard that I'm trying to go for now is like full-blown androgyny with your own twist. Like I always see like you know, like boys my age wearing like makeup and doing like, you know, our crazy hair and crazy styles, and I want everyone to add their own little flair to it. Like I add spook, I love spook, and I see people who add like you know, my friend Chuck has like really bright, vibrant red hair, and that's like the one thing that he always keeps to have like a little something in it while he's like achieving these beauty standards are like pushed on him. It's like, this is my version of what I'm gonna take what I like from you guys and then add my own thing. So I feel like androgyny with my own flair is where I'm comfortable sitting at right now. Well, it's crazy because like clothing itself was like made by humans, like, and we're told to wear them by our own selves. Like it's not like we have like a higher person being like, all humans must wear clothing. Like we gave ourselves the rule. Let's say like a black t-shirt. That's seen as both masculine and feminine. Or that's seen like, let's say like a crew neck black t-shirt. That's like a masculine shirt. And then you add the same black shirt with a deeper V, and all of a sudden it's feminine. And the only thing that's different is you're like showing more boobs. But it's crazy because like things like black jeans, those are both masculine and feminine. The only thing that's different is like women's tend to be tighter. It's like all the clothing is like told to us that it's masculine and feminine. It's like you said, like a dress is like, when it was first made to like accentuate like a woman's body, it's like, that's great that it looks fantastic on women. It can also look fantastic on men, but it's not even like it's not encouraged. It's like actually like looked down upon. Harry Styles' Vogue cover, like Candace Owens, is that her name? Like she posted a video and it was like how you know, they're like attacking masculinity, and men are meant to serve and men are meant to protect. And as I was I made it through the entire 8-minute video, but the entire time I was just like, it's so strange that this opinion still lasts, that men can't wear like a dress. Like I remember thinking like I work at a restaurant downtown and we wear uniforms, and you know, the girls can wear dresses and the girls like encouraged to like wear makeup, which is so strange, but we have to do like dress shirt and dress pants. So I was like, I asked my manager, I was like, if I were to come in a dress tomorrow, like what would happen? And I work in the gay village, and they still were like, you know, I guess technically you could still wear it, but that's not the response it should be. It should be like, wear whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like it's still looked down upon even when it's not looked down upon. It's like, yeah, do whatever you want, you're gonna be looked at weird. You know what I mean? It's like, it's very strange how even in like 2020, when we have like someone on the cover of Vogue, a man in a dress, it's still not like as accepted. And the only way to get rid of that is to like blast it open by like having multiple men wear dresses and multiple, like just, it's gonna be a trailblazer the way that we talked about Lady Gaga doing it. Like him wearing a dress, it's in that video that Candace spoke about, she said that men in dresses are crackheads. That's the words that she used. And I'm like, that's one, derogatory, and two, incorrect. So it's crazy that like that's the view that some people have, whereas in like 10 years, I hope and I feel that it will be completely different because we're doing the work today. So social media is tough because anyone can comment, anyone can leave an opinion, especially because like I typically leave my stuff public just for in case there's, you know, new people I can reach and connect with. So before, if I would get like a negative comment, I would always delete it, like get rid of the comment. I wanted everyone to only see positive stuff, and that was like a lack of self-esteem, to be honest. I was like, I didn't want them to see that there's negative opinions of me, which is so strange, as like a young kid. But I feel like social media now, because you don't have to really strive to be perfect anymore, and you can share art that is important to you, and you can actually connect to many different people, as opposed to like posting it on Facebook like 10 years ago, where you only had like your friends from high school, so you didn't really have like a reach that was well. So I feel like now, with like the expectations being lower in terms of like perfection, I feel like there's more opportunity to like receive positive affirmations from your friends or people. And not that you should post a photo to get them, but people are like praising everyone for showing like their skin without makeup and their like morning bed hair and whatnot. I do agree that before it was a bit trying to find the word for it. It was a bit more toxic in the sense that like people would go on addicted to the notifications and wanting to see people liking their photos, and you would kind of judge your self-worth based on like how many likes you got or how many people like reshared your photo, especially when you see these accounts that have like 34,000 followers and you're like, they probably get like 4 million likes. But I feel like now, and especially like with me in my personal experience with social media, is like now I use it as like a powerful tool. So like I don't look at likes, I don't look at like how many comments it gets. I look at the fact that like I'm sharing this and I feel confident to share this. And on my stories, I'm pretty raw, so I don't really care about hiding it. But I do agree that like social media can definitely have like a negative impact on your mental health in terms of how you look, because we're constantly being fed like, you know, like the fitness goals, especially in quarantine, and like how makeup's supposed to look on camera. And like, for example, I started doing makeup in quarantine, but because I don't have like gorgeous studio lights, I don't have like an insane camera, it would always look less professional or less smooth or less like talented than it would if I had like a really high def camera with like gorgeous lighting. So I kind of like use that to like depict the value of my art, which is like a dangerous spiral to go down, and that you'd have to like catch yourself with that. So I feel like as long as you can catch it when you're comparing yourself to what you see in this like fake world of social media, and then you can use it as a positive. The only time it's negative is when you take it as real life. It's not real life. The power of it is it can harm your mental health, but it only can do that if you take it that way. Like if you see someone's post and you're like, they're at the gym and I'm in bed. That comparing shouldn't happen. Like if you see someone at the gym and you're like, oh, good for you, move on. Like someone's at the beach, don't think like, why am I not there? Just if you like the photo, you like that, like they're at the beach, be happy for them and do your own thing. Because sometimes it's not even the way that it is. Some people aren't even at the beach when they're posting those photos. They're like in bed. And like I do the same thing when I'm posting like my, like if I do like a makeup look and I just have the photo in my camera roll and I like share it when I get a chance, I'm laying in bed like this saying thank you. it's not you know, like, you know, it's not real time, and like it's the perception's crazy when it comes to social media. Just don't compare. Well, especially because like when that whole like craze about like editing went through, when like people would like super Photoshop their appearance, like you take a picture, it goes through like 3 different apps and then it's posted, and like people think like, oh, like that photo is just from their camera roll. It's like, no baby, that photo has been like through the ringer, and you can always tell. And I'm very good at catching it, because when I was younger I used to edit everything and like raise my brows and like strengthen my jawline. Like it's crazy to me to like think about now, but it made me confident when I was younger, because I was like, if I can fix it. But then I would see people in person and I'm like, and then I'd catch people doing it too, and I'm like, okay, so that this is like negative, we should probably work on this. So once you like stop and you like post just like a raw photo, you're like, it's like takes the power back. You're like, this is how I look and I'm fine with that. I don't need to like, because then you're saying thank you to comments that aren't actually about what you look like. Right? Someone's like, wow, you look so good. It's like, thanks, I smoothed my face 9 times. Oh my God. Oh. Come on, Abercrombie and Fitch. Oh, I'm happy we got a smiling one in there. Oh! There's one where I'm looking off to the side and it's just stunning. Oh my God. Can I like turn this around for you for a second? I look like a spider in heaven. Oh my God. Once I put on those gloves, I like came to life. Oh, that's so good. Okay, I'm at the ones where my legs are in the air. This is it. Oh, the zoom in is so good. You weren't lying. I've got to say, the contrast between my face full of makeup and my hairy legs is really doing what we talked about earlier with the androgyny. That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. I'm like not even gonna scroll. I don't think I've even told you this, but I grew up in foster care. So I grew up like in a very tough environment where I didn't really have any time to learn about myself growing up. There was always so many things that were just like pushing me down. So then when I turned 18, I was like, now what? You know, I didn't really feel like I had learned anything or like grown in the years you're supposed to. And I would say this to every gay kid too. I would really say the same thing. Wear your eyeliner. That's me talking to my younger self. Like, wear your eyeliner outside of the house. Don't worry about hiding it. Do whatever you want to with your hair. Say whatever you want to as long as you're not hurting anybody. Like, I feel like that's like probably been like my main mantra in life, is do whatever you want as long as no one's being negatively affected. Because I look back at who I was when I was like 15, and it literally feels like, it actually feels like a different life. Like, I don't even know how I went through every day with like no self-confidence and hiding myself all the time. Like, it's even now I'm like, how do I express myself more? Like, how do I bold this energy that I'm trying to emit and this life that I want to like manifest for myself? But when I was younger, there was just so many like societal pressures from family, from friends, from my own brain that just like compressed all of that inside of me. And it's not how much time you waste. So like, talking to my younger self is like, I guess, useless now, but I mean, if you like, if you see like if a younger person even watches like this and is like, feels like they are relate to me, like I want them to know, it is like, do it like so loud and do whatever your fashion and your appearance and your beliefs, do it all so loud and so proud, because if you do it now, other people who relate to it, even if they relate to it in silence, they're gonna affect other people in the same way that you do, because it's like, it's contagious. Like, confidence is contagious. So don't waste any time, because then 10 years goes by and you finally discover what it's like to love yourself, and you're like, I could have done this all the time. So don't waste time.